does it take to be a Shengyun dancer? It takes a mind.
The American
Hello, everybody.
dream is dead. But if I get elected president, I will bring it back. Bigger and better and stronger than ever before. And we will make America great again. Thank you. Thank you very much.
2016, year of the snake. It's time for a change in the White House, y'all. Bring it.
Hello, how's it going? How's it going, my friends? Welcome to the show. Oh, these Periscope folks are starting early. Sweetheart, they're not going to even let Bernie get the nomination, boo-boo. But you know what? That's all right. For those of you who are tuning in to Trump Talk US, go ahead and hit the share button. There's my Monkin. Welcome. Welcome, John. Good to see you. So good to see you. We're just going to let the folks come on into the room. And, of course, please enjoy a little bit of Laser Snake. Make America great again, Laser Snake. How's it going, Deidre? James, that's right. Okay. I disagree that we will be better without Mexicans, and I don't think that's the purpose Donald Trump has at all. I'm going to bring this up. Let's do this. Let's do this. Let's do this. Let's do this. Let's have some fun. Pause, Laser Snake. Pause. And we're going to come in over here. Welcome to the show, everybody. I'm Suzzanne Monk. How's it going? You are watching the one and only Trump Talk US. I'm going to show you. I have a perfect example of what we call a troll. And this is exactly, see this guy here, this is not a troll. This is just a guy who comes and shows up. See, Bernie 2020. That's just a Bernie supporter. All right. Are they trolling? My page is there and they act trolling. But this is a troll. This is a real troll. I'm going to show you a real troll. This. Deport all the illegals and Mexicans. Be better without Mexicans. See, that is somebody who comes in. They try to sound logical, like deporting all illegals. We should not have illegals in the country. If you are here illegally, you shouldn't be in the country. We all know that Trump supporters believe that. And then they add this racist crap to try to lure you, right? To try to trick you into going, oh, yeah, I totally agree with you. But I don't agree with you. James 1-333-1391. No one on my side agrees with you. None of my friends and supporters agree with you. None of the people who are supporting President Trump in his campaign, in his administration, none of these people believe you and agree with you. No, we're not. You know who doesn't like? You know who's racist? The Democrats are racist. You know who doesn't like the Mexican people? The Democrats, because they want there to be open borders, which are feeding the drug cartels, which are helping them to make trillions, not millions, not billions, trillions of dollars of sex trafficking, etc. So we don't agree, James. We don't agree. Sorry. That's what a troll looks like. That is what a troll looks like. How's it going, everybody? How's it going? How's it going? How's it going? John Trump can in fact run again. He was not in any way. You see, this is the thing. That's like asking me, can someone get a job that says that they can't be a convicted felon if they went to trial? Yeah. Were they convicted? No, they were not convicted at trial. Then yes, they were not a convicted felon. Donald Trump was not convicted of the charges, the trumped up charges, if you will, of impeachment. So clearly. B. Clark 30, let's talk about this for a second. There is literally no Republican presidents in Newark, New Jersey. What are your thoughts about this? And yet, B. Clark, and yet, the Wildwood, New Jersey rally was off the chain, way packed. So many people there. The overflow, out of control. All those people didn't drive from somewhere else, okay? It's not like nobody from New Jersey came to the rally and everybody came from New Jersey. I'm going to tell you what's actually happening. What's actually happening is that there is no establishment GOP presence. The establishment Republicans have decided and seated many cases. They did the same thing in Virginia, many states. They have just given up. Said, you know what? We're not even going to engage in those urban environments. And so you don't see anything. You don't see anything. But here's the reality of the situation. They're there. The voters are there. Even in deep Chicago, you had 20, 25, 30% of the voters who voted for Trump. So they're there. And yes, B. Clark, 100%. I'm going to put this up because it's even better comment than the last comment. There are Black Republicans in those environments, 100%. 100%. And I can tell you that speaking from personal experience, living right here in Washington, D.C., in beautiful Anacostia, historic Black neighborhood. I live literally a block and a half from Frederick Douglass's house, okay? And the Frederick Douglass Museum that is in the house. So, and what do we see? We see a lot of conservatives. We see a lot of people, working class people. We see a lot of folks who would vote Republican if the Republicans come over. So because it's happening the same thing everywhere. But here's the reality of the situation. The GOP, the establishment GOP, they're not going to do it. They don't even like Trump. They don't even like Trump. So there are some Black conservatives running. There's some in Baltimore, for example, Kim Klacik, Reba Hawkins, great people running over there. As you know, Liz Metoyer was running over there in the primary. So we've got some great conservatives, Black conservatives that are running, are getting some more support. But we're going to have to, just like everything else, P. Clarka, just like everything else, electing President Trump, we're going to have to do this grassroots style. So here's what you need to do. Get yourself some Trump supporters. Get together on a regular basis. Find those other Black conservatives. Find what they're doing. Find what they're doing. Get them engaged in doing campaign activities, even if it's just a flag wave, you guys. Here's the steps. We're going to just take you through very simple steps. If you are in a completely blue environment, no Republicans whatsoever, what you're going to need, okay, you're going to need one of these fancy dancy, one of these bad boys. Keep America Great. This is my Women for Trump one. I love this one. Keep America Great. Women for Trump. And you do what I used to call, because I invented this, as much as everybody's been doing it now this year. I invented this back in the day when Donald Trump was running. I invented it. I'm just going to say a one Woman for Trump rally. It's just where you take your flag, take your sign, right? Take whichever. I think I got the other one here. Which one is it? Oh, this is my Jexit one. This is my Jexit one. That's a good one. You know, you're going to take your little flag and you're going to be out in public. Boom. Boom. Keep America Great. Boom. Right? Do some flag waves. Do some pop-up flag waves. One person. You get a bunch of people. Now if you have a small group, say you got a small group of friends, right? Now you can start doing flag waves. You can start doing door knocking. You should do that, but let's put this up. Doing door knocking, you can start engaging. And I'm so glad you mentioned this, because that's exactly the second thing. When you get a small group of people, you can start you can even knock on your own doors and just go around and say, hey, we're Trump supporters. We're just knocking around on doors, telling everybody to vote for Trump. You literally can do that. No one is stopping you. There is no law stopping anybody from doing that. You can go and register voters. You and 5 people, you and 2 people, you and yourself can be registering voters everywhere in every city. Now, I'm going to put this up. If you have an organization, B. Clarka, yes, this is what I'm talking about. The New Jersey Black Republican Alliance. Get in their face. This is, if you have an organization and a group, and I'm encouraging, it's just like the Black Conservative Federation, which is a national group here founded by one of my good friends here in DC. We have several organizations that are coming up across the country and in colleges. Black conservatism is on the rise. You need to get in the face of the party. Get in the face of them. Run great candidates, support great candidates, but also find your county chair and get in there. Sign up to be a delegate. Sign up to be on in the party committees. Sign up to do events. Get in. Worm your little way in. They don't like you. They're awkward. They're uncomfortable. Don't care. Don't care. Because that's how we're going to fix the system. Ultimately, and I talk about this a lot, B. Clark, on my show. What I can do, I'll put this up. Send me all your information. I am a huge supporter of our urban Black conservatives teaching a thing or two to the Republican Party. So send me some information. I will share my platform. Definitely. I'm happy to share my platform. If your tenets are sound, if you support the president, if you support this little guy, my favorite thing, if you support our Constitution, right, then we're all conservatives. We're classical Republicans. I like to call it classical Republicans. We are people who believe in the founding of this country and what we were promised by the founders in this document right here. And we want that. And frankly, right here in the Black community, in the urban community, in the community, being such a community that is constantly ignored, even in DC. I'm going to save this. Okay, B. Clark here. I'm going to put my email up. And, it's all right. Everybody can have their email. So email me your email because I will lose this in the comments and I will forget to come back and try to find it. And then I will be like, oh, I was supposed to email that person. So do that. There you go. Boom. There's my email. Everybody can have my email. Yes, email me and I'll email you back and we'll talk. Definitely. Because I think what we need to do, and we talk about this a lot on the show, and you'll find this about me, B. Clark. Many of my viewers find this to be true as well because it's my common theme. We're in the process of taking back both parties. All right, both parties. We are in a further process with the Republican Party. We, the people, have actually taken the executive branch with that party. We control, I would say, 45 to 55% of the Republican Party right now. The grassroots, classical Republican, Trump-supporting Republicans, we are controlling a much larger portion of the party, but there's still a lot of party leadership in the state level, in the county level, that really is keeping people from moving up and from getting involved because they're demoralizing people. They hold on like little petty tyrants. So we're going to need to worm in there. We need to continue to worm in there, and we're going to do it. We do it as a team, and we do it most importantly while we still have this energy of Donald Trump. Donald Trump is not going to be president forever. We love him. He's great. We're going to have to replace him at some point. But while we have him, the unity that conservatives have, that Trump supporters have with one another, is a huge asset. It's an opportunity to bring people into your cause while you have this wonderful motivation. Will that last past 2024, 2025? We don't know. We're going to have to work at it. Some of us are still going to be in the game, but will there be a Trump movement going forward after that? I don't know. We should just use the time we have now. So important. So important. Now, I'm just going to show you this hilarious comment because when you've decided to set up a bot account, okay? When you've decided to set up a bot account, you use words like spam 30 for your name. And then you go and you probably troll. You probably made like 32 cents or whatever. They probably get buy the click probably. So I'll help you out though a little bit. Let's pull this comment up right here. The left has no chance in 2020. 2024, the right will win again, no doubt. We need to actually make sure we're working on grooming and vetting candidates. I don't think Mike Pence can pull the election. We need something big. We need something big. We need something exciting. We continue to talk about that here on this show. B. Davis is so sweet. You're supposed to look at this. Look at these lefties. We're the most corrupt president in this country has ever known. Are you talking about Barack Hussein Obama? Because this is absolutely correct. And this is also correct. History will not be kind to Barack Hussein Obama. You are correct, my friend. That man is and we're going to talk about this now. Shall we talk about this? Shall we talk? That's it. Let's move on to the next subject. TikTok news, you guys. We're going to get back to NASCAR because I know how it melts down the little snowflakes. And I want to have actually, while they're here, let's educate them a little bit. Let's educate them a little bit about what history will be kind or won't be kind on. Alan Dershowitz, as you might know, Alan Dershowitz, famed attorney and Democrat, known Democrat, has come out in an interview on Sunday, where he stated, and I quote, he stated, in fact, that there is going to be some huge bombshells coming out and about Obama ordering the FBI to investigate somebody after George Soros suggested it. Okay, so here's the fun stuff. Periscope trolls. George Soros, radical globalist, big banker, all the people you Bernie people hate. George Soros. He tries to control the world with his money. You guys are idiots. He actually told Barack Obama, hey, I need this guy investigated. Obama did it after George Soros asked him to. And Alan Dershowitz is going to out that information. And when he gave out that information, he suggested it was going to be, he can't really talk about it because it's going to be brought up in a future lawsuit. That's the sound of the clock. For all of you leftists who have continued to buy into the liberal lies that Donald Trump is in fact the problem, when we're all going to find out together. It's going to be so much fun. We're all going to find out together. In fact, the reality of the situation is it was Obama, it was the Clinton regime, and frankly, it was the Bush dynasty and the previous presidents that have been doing all of the corruption that's been going on. So, and we'll find out because the FISA courts are coming out. Obviously, William Barr is moving forward with all of that good stuff. So now, since we've got some trolls in here and we have a good time with that, how's it going, Audra? Let's talk about what really makes them so upset. They are so mad, you guys. I hope you watched it. Lisa, I hope you watched it. NASCAR on Sunday. Let's just pause for a minute. Because I do have some folks in the room. Let's pull this up. B. Davis says, so Trump is innocent. Yes, 100% innocent. That's correct. And acquitted. So, not only is he innocent, but he is actually acquitted of the charges that wrapped up, which weren't criminal charges at all. So, yeah. You know who's not innocent? Obama. But you'll find out. It's going to be a good time. Now, so if any of you happen to have turned on a little bit of NASCAR, I do follow a little bit of Q. I don't follow a ton of Q. I don't steep myself in it. You just keep informed. Always keep informed. President Trump was the Grand Marshal at the Daytona 500 on Sunday. It was a fantastic day. Unfortunately, the race got rained out, but it was historic in every other way. The president flew in. He actually flew Air Force One. Air Force One at 800 feet, kind of a low flyby as they came around the stadium, the racetrack there, landing in Daytona. The liberals are so upset about this. Landed, came in. Now he brought one of his, I think it's only a few, but like 7 perhaps. There's several different versions, different individual beasts, but there's the presidential limo is called the Beast. It is hugely secure, 5-inch glass, bulletproof, everything. Hugely secure, heavy, very heavy. He brought it as the pace car, as the Grand Marshal to Daytona came, did a little, tiny little speech. So delicate. So just a little bit, just a little bit, just a little bit. And then, gentlemen, start your engines, the historic words, the president of the United States. Now, he's not the only president who's ever come, but, amen, invalid username, amen. But he was the first president ever to come serve as a Grand Marshal, and then even moving beyond that, ride in the pace car as the presidential limo, as the pace car. Now, of course, they were busting its balls a little bit. Could it go 70 miles an hour? I can tell you that pace car, that limo can go very fast. He's got to get he's got to get places fast, very quickly. So yeah, it's heavy, but it has a lot of horsepower. That engine is amazing. However, they just kind of took it for a nice lap. What was amazing additionally to the president doing the lap, obviously we all got to see that and enjoy it. I think it's great because people, there's a huge fan base. The liberals are all totally now making fun of NASCAR, which is only going to harm them in the long run. How's it going, Patricia? Good information. I'll share that in just a second as we catch up. But President Trump also, once he had performed the lap, he requested a helmet so he can communicate with all the drivers, and he gave a special note, special statement, kind of a thumbs up, encouragement. Hey, everybody, in the radio, to all the drivers, to only the drivers. This is one of the things I love about my president is it's not just, he's not always doing everything just to make a media splash. In fact, the media is going to talk negative about him no matter what he does. And we're going to talk about the negative media in just a second here. But he does a lot of things. He does a lot of things amazingly so, just because it's kind-hearted to the individual that's going to receive it. So he spoke to all of the drivers through the radio. They were very moved, very touched. Several drivers are tweeting about it on Twitter after the race, how great it was. Now, of course, the president, it was a rain delay. They dried the track, came back out, did a few laps, did about 19, 20 laps. Rain, pouring rain. They had to cancel. They had to basically postpone the race until today. They are running the race. They're running the race today, and as now we've caught up. Thank you, Patricia, for giving this bad crash a while ago on the last lap. Newman crashed and has to be sent to the hospital. So we're obviously sending prayers to that driver and to the family and all of the people involved, the crew, etc., and wishing them the best and quickest recovery. It is a dangerous sport, as the president said himself. It is a dangerous sport. These folks get in and, they strap themselves into these vehicles. They're going very fast. Anything can happen. You take a lot of safety precautions, but the reason you have to take all those safety precautions is because it's a very dangerous sport. And so we do, in fact, send up prayers, and we'll follow up and make sure we report back on what happens, because obviously I suspect the president will as well, because, he cares about his folks. Now, Chris, let's catch up. Thank you so much. I want to just thank our sponsor, sendmag.com. I didn't get you a chance to do that at the top of the hour because we like to sometimes entertain a few fun trolls when they come in, maybe educate a few people. That's what we like to do. But I, of course, want to thank our sponsor, sendmag.com. If you are in the New England, basically in the whole northeast part of the country, if you have any delivery needs or any oversized load, accompaniment needs, you have a medical delivery, hazmat delivery, business delivery, anything that needs specific security, anything that needs to be delivered to TSA directly. There's a whole bunch of things she can do. So that's our sponsor. We love and support her. Veteran. She's a veteran and a great patriot. Sendmag.com. Going to be a great service for you. Of course, also want to remind you about President Nutcracker. He will be at CPAC with me. I think we're down to about 9 days now. Coming up CPAC in just a short while. We will be with the MAGA One Network. I'm so excited to be sharing their booth with them. And we're going to be doing Trump Talks all week. We've got some great interviews. We're going to get some great interviews. It's going to be a fantastic day. Everybody, let's put this up. I want to congratulate Janice. Janice became a great grandma today, So happy, and it's President's Day. Janice, congratulations, Janice. Congratulations. And yes, and a happy President's Day to all of us, especially everyone who knows that Donald Trump is your president. If you know that Donald Trump is your president, happy President's Day to you. If you don't know Donald Trump is your president, why even celebrate President's Day? You don't even like presidents. All right. Let's talk a little bit about what we see going forward with. Now, I put this in the description, so I'm going to pull this up real quick. I got distracted what I was talking about. Let's kind of pull this up. So, President Trump gave a great speech on the 15th for Susan B. Anthony Day. And I wanted to bring it up because there's been a lot of women's issues in the news. Certainly some important women's issues. And we're going to talk about a variety of things going on as women. But I first want to thank the president for mentioning Susan B. Anthony and speaking so highly of her. She has always been a great hero of mine, someone who fought for the suffrage of women, someone who fought and believed very strongly in our republic, in our great nation, someone who understood the value of the vote. And Chris is putting up our link to the Trump towel as well. We love our folks with the Trump towel. And we might actually be doing a little going around with the Trump towel after CPAC. So they will be at CPAC as well. They'll have a booth and everything. So we'll come down. We'll talk to them. You'll see them there. We'll see them there. We love them. We love my girl Diane and all my Trump towel peeps. So it was so great to have the president mention so specifically and so informedly about Susan B. Anthony, someone who I value not only as a woman who has brought to us as women, the ever vital ability to vote. Many women's rights moved forward by Susan B. Anthony, many of which she did not even see them in her lifetime. But certainly also an abolitionist, someone who opposed slavery. And I think that's very important. I appreciate the president mentioning that because I think we have to continue. And B. Clark, I will as soon as the show's over. We have to recognize the true history of the founding of our country, of the growth of our country, and how many of the founding people who are founding, people who are foundational, whether you were founding, in other words, you helped start the country, or you were foundational, fundamental in the process. Someone like Susan B. Anthony, who obviously older, later in the history of America, but certainly has a huge role to play in the manifestation of what we were promised and what we have been aspiring to accomplish in the Constitution of the United States and the formation of this great free nation. So I want to thank the president for that, but also to bring up the issue of pro-life. And that's such a big and important issue, because we see a lot of history being altered when it comes to not just women, but other minorities, their role in our founding. For example, it's Black History Month now. I've been sharing things about James Amistad, many different individuals in our history, founding members of the American society, very relevant, but we're not finding out about that history. Same thing with early women's history and early American women's rights history. These women were conservative women. They had traditional values. Many of them were temperance, people who supported the elite criminalization of alcohol, the control of alcohol, because their men were too crazy, running around drunk. They had conservative values. They believed in the family. They believed in women being supported in the family. And they wanted to be able to vote. Many of the women who started in our abolitionist movement and in our suffragist movement wanted that right to be able to vote on alcohol laws, on local laws, to help control the debauchery that men were able to engage in. And certainly there was undermining the family. So, women have been talking about family values since way, 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 way back in the day, like a very long time. And much like we see with the Black community, much like we see with the Hispanic community, a lot of those values that are core, to women are by nature conservative values. Women want to take care of the family. They want to have food on their table for their children, for their husband. They want lower taxes. They want to keep more of their income. They want good schools. They want school choice. In fact, that's a big issue in the Black community. And I think conservatives can get engaged on that issue because, it's something that a lot of conservatives don't realize, that here in the urban environment, they are talking more about school choice than a lot of the homeschoolers. We all have viewed homeschooling as this rural thing. In reality, we are seeing it spread everywhere because of the decay and into the urban environments with the decay of public schools. We're going to put this up. Let's have this conversation. Moscow, we're actually having this conversation, let's just put this up. First off, this is who we're talking to. We're talking to someone who just told me to light myself on fire. Okay. So before we engage too far with this troll, I want to just let everybody know this person started by suggesting that I light myself on fire. Now, Republicans don't support public education. I disagree. I disagree 100%. But the Republican Party, and certainly the Republican Party under President Trump, supports public education being controlled at the local level, not at the federal level. That is a massive difference. Yes, facts hurt, and they're going to hurt you right now, Moscow. They're going to hurt you right this second. Here we go. You want to actually take away education. You do not actually support. The Democrats do not support. We're going to put this up. Republicans prefer homeschool. The Democrats do not support healthy public education. They support the voting bloc that they have set up in the teachers union. They do not support providing great schools for kids, providing great public education. And you know how I know that? Because every city that's run by Democrats, Chicago, Detroit, Baltimore, Washington, D.C., their school systems suck. Not only do they suck, they have a ridiculously low graduation rate. I think Chicago's graduation rate is 17%. 17%. Let's put this up, Big Clarka. Yes. School choice has created tremendous competition in Newark. Kids are benefiting from this. I'm so glad you're saying this because here's what Democrats want. Democrats want to continue to pander to the teachers union and to continue to prevent school choice because it forces kids to go into the public schools. Public schools will continue to get money handed down to them for the Department of Education, the little allotments. It's a desperate money grab. In reality, what happens, and B. Clark is so correct, when you start creating school choice with charter schools, and in fact, even homeschooling, unfortunately, you say Republicans support homeschooling. The reality is most people don't want to homeschool. They want a strong school system. But what they're being given by the Democrats is a school system with 17% graduation rates, can't even buy new books, but we keep giving raises to teachers. We have a bloated administration, okay? The administrator's office is filled with more people than the teacher's office. And that's in every one of these urban schools. Baltimore can't afford new books, okay? They can't afford heat for their classrooms. They literally had to shut school because there was no heat. Because they couldn't pay the gas bill. The city of Baltimore couldn't pay the gas bill in school. They can't pay to air condition the classrooms in the summertime. So these kids aren't learning. This is a Democrat public school system. Where is the money going? Because it seems to me, if you really cared about public education, no administrators Okay, no superintendents would make a dime if I couldn't afford heat in the schools. And see, this is how they respond to that. Let me just show you this. This is how the Democrats respond to, oh, we didn't heat the schools. The children couldn't go to school because it was freezing in their classrooms. Oh, cavemen shit in the woods. Because they don't care. You don't care about public education. The Democrats don't care. They care about the teachers union, and they care about keep getting those votes. They care about the mechanism that they have put in these public and private sector unions that is a vote-getting mechanism. Those people go out and volunteer for the union. They knock on doors. The union spends its own money, sending out flyers, knocking on doors, making phone calls, all of that. All of them do that. So while we see in Baltimore just this past year, not old, just this past year, because look, just this past year. It says old. No, actually this last winter. Closed schools because they couldn't afford the heat. But they can afford to pay superintendents. They can afford to pay administrators. They can afford to pay, the politicians are still getting paid, but the kids don't have heat to go to school. So you tell me how the Democrats are creating a system. Now, as Blacka would say, school choice is making a huge difference. Let's pull that comment back up. Yeah, this is actually true. I'm going to pull this up, John. Teachers are spending no money and they're paid enough, and look at the vacant schools in Detroit as an example. Yeah, I'm going to put this up. Democrats are most responsible for the social devastation in Black communities. 100%. Because they have promised so much. Now, we have an issue with school choice, and I know B. Clark was talking about that, and it's so important. School choice is creating, what was the word? I want to use it specifically. Competition. Competition. Here we go. North Star and KIPP have changed the entire school system in Newark. It's like a gold rush. I'm assuming North Star and KIPP are charter schools that have been allowed. Here we go. School choice has created tremendous competition in New York. Kids are benefiting from this. That is correct. Because when a parent can choose, you're not forced to send your kid to a government-run school and the one that the government picks out for you. You are actually able to send your kid to the school that is best for you and best for the child. Now you have a situation where the schools have to compete. And you don't destroy the public school system by doing that, because look, what are they competing for? They're competing for those same dollars that they get from the education department, from the state. They're competing for that same revenue, okay? Because as we know, schools, when you have 20 students in the schools, you can say, I have 20 students in the schools, you get revenue for your school, funding for the school for 20 students. You have 40 students, you get 40 students revenue. You get 60. So if you're keeping students, if students are staying in school and more students want to come to your school, you're going to do better as a school. Your administration is going to do better. Your principal is going to be happy. Everybody's going to be happy because you're making more money. The books are going to be better because you have more money coming in. Now, what's going to happen to the other schools? They're losing students. So now they want to do better because they're losing students, because they're losing money. They're losing tax dollars. They're not getting because now instead of having 60 students, they only had 40 because the other kids went to the other school. That is how school choice is so critical. And that's how what B. Clark is talking about. That is how competition is creating a better school environment and bringing all the schools up. Because once you can leave a failing school, the schools have to work to create results, to retain the parents and retain the students. Let's just put this up here. Democrats have been stealing tremendous amounts of money from the public education system through union teachers' pay, through the pension. Illinois is out of control with the teachers' pensions. They've literally been handing over billions and billions of dollars from the education system, tax dollars that are taxed and put into the system under the premise that they're going to be used to pay for a sound public education. And right now, if you're lucky, you're in the 17% that graduates and you didn't get shot going to school. So tell me again how the Democrats are for public education and the Republicans aren't. Yeah. fact, under President Trump, we have done more to cut back the federal regulations on the school system, to cut back. It's a Ponzi scheme, okay? The Department of Education, here's how it works. You send tax dollars that would otherwise be able to be taxed and go directly to the school system. Tax dollars come from your neighborhood, okay? In the neighborhood, here's your tax dollars, here's the federal government, okay? You send your tax dollars, boom, 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 to the federal government. They take a little piece of it, okay? They take a little piece of it. And then you get, nope, they send your money back. What happened? What happened to your money? Where'd all the money go? You got less because you had to send some to the federal government. They had to operate the offices to take all your money and send it back through the education system. Under Michelle Obama, they controlled that money viciously. It was so bad for schools. Failing schools, schools that didn't do well. You had to apply for certain programs. You could get in the programs if you were doing well because they would use it as an example. But if you didn't do you remember they would have competitions? And so schools, rather than funding the education system, schools under President Obama, do you remember this? They were competing. They were competing to get the government to grant them money. So we obviously didn't value an education under Obama. It was a way to make yourself look good as a politician. Because under what system, if you truly believed in an education, if you truly believe that every child deserves a quality education and access to a sound, fundamental education to build a livelihood on going forward, if you truly believe that, as I'm told, as the Democrats love to come on here and tell me they are, but they don't. If you truly believe that, you wouldn't hold a competition so one of the schools might get the necessary funding. You'd figure out how to fund all the schools. You wouldn't say, oh, okay, well, 200 schools are competing. One of you is going to get the prize. What's the prize? A decent education. That's the Democrats. One of the reasons I don't vote for the Democrats, because I've watched over many years how the Democrats use the union apparatus. They use their urban lockhold on the political process here to continue to bilk the school system. The book scandal of the Baltimore mayor, the last mayor, the book scandal, where she made the school system buy a bunch of books that she didn't even write. She didn't even make. They didn't even exist. They just paid for the books. Yeah, Helen, I agree with this. We need to funding is tied to performance, and that's what happens with charter schools and with school choice. Funding is tied directly to performance because you vote with your feet. And this is a good question, Patricia. How much gets directed to non-school programs or to the pockets of the administrators? Tons. John, this is a great quote. But Michelle Obama is the most admired woman in America. Where do these people show their hands? I'm going to tell you right now, she is not admired in the children that were school lunch age, during her husband's presidency. Kids didn't like her. Kids were very upset. This shoving vegetables down their throat, changing the whole meals. Kids weren't eating. They were literally not eating. Kids were literally starving rather than eat the food that they were being served. And they still served the food and they would just throw it away. So we were wasting a ton of food. Kids weren't eating the food. We were literally forcing food choices. This is how ridiculous collectivism and this statist government, this nanny state government is. We were literally here in Washington, D.C., okay, not far from where I live, making up the plan for what everybody's kid should eat at lunch. Yeah, in DC. We were figuring out kids' lunch. Like, that's what the nation's capital should be focused on. That's what our lawmakers and legislators should be focused on. That's what our Department of Education should be focused on. What is everybody having for lunch? Because, local teachers, local parents, local school districts, they can't figure out what kids should eat for lunch. I don't know about you. I don't even want to take a stranger's kids to lunch because I don't know what they eat. And John, this is a great point. Allergies are not considered. Personal tastes are not considered. When you take out somebody's kids, I don't know what you've taught them. Okay, I know what I was taught when I was raised. You eat what's put on your plate. You have lots of different food varieties you enjoy. You are respectful when you are served food in other people's houses. You do eat as much. You do as best you can. Can't eat everything. You at least try it. Take several bites. You be a gracious guest. Eat. It's food. Eat. But I don't know what you taught your kid. You might have taught your kid the opposite of that. You might have taught your kid, oh, if it tastes weird, you don't have to eat it. You can just spit it out. These parents, if you see these parents, you're screwing yourselves. I watch parents who do that, who do not require their kids try new foods, do not require their kids learn the basic manners of taking 1 or 2 bites. And you end up with a horrible situation. The kid's not going to eat anything. Now, I don't want to take your kid out because of that, because I don't know what you taught him. I don't know what you taught him. And worse, here, Chris, I'm going to put this up. They were even inspecting bag lunches to if they complied to their standards. Yes! So if you wanted to send your kid to school with a lunch you knew he would eat, that was no longer your choice. The school would go through your lunch and decide. And that was a top-down. DC decided that the schools should go through your lunch. So this is what we have under President Trump. Absolutely a president who is in fact working to create school choice, who is in fact working to rectify the damage we've done to the educational system, who is in fact cutting back, breaking down these agencies, and certainly reducing the control the federal government has. We're not making decisions for school lunch anymore here in Washington, D.C. You're making those decisions based in your own counties, in your own local schools. Parents are making those decisions. It's absolutely a huge difference from what we had under President Obama. And I think one of the great reasons that we see President Trump doing so well, you have no idea how, only through following, as we do to gather the news for this show on a regular basis, only through following the news do you see exactly how much regulation President Trump has cut. Certainly Coolidge levels. That's great. I love this. They say always haters. I listened to you for 2 minutes talking about kids' meals. You're talking circles. I'm like, trigger. Bye. I love how you were annoyed enough to make a comment, but then like when I'm watching something and I don't want to watch it anymore, I don't stop to make a comment listening to it longer. I just leave. John, let's ask this question. Bloomberg. Suzzanne, is he going to run? Isn't it too late for anyone else to start? No, it's not too late because the Democrats don't care. Okay? They have already changed the rules several times to include Bloomberg. To include him in the debates when he's not, shouldn't be. Even though he is not on early ballots, they're going to bring out the super delegates at the convention. At this point, it's looking more and more like a brokered convention, which means heaven knows who could end up. If they broker the convention, it doesn't even have to be a previous nominee. What did you just say? Yeah, if they broker the convention, once you get to that first vote or two, all bets are off. Now we're wheeling and dealing. Heaven knows what's going to happen. Me and James Woods have some predictions. I know some other people have some other predictions, so we will see. I wanted to let you guys know there is some rallies coming up. President Trump has been doing a lot of rallies. Bernard, I did get your email. I can let you know I did get that, so I will respond to that as well. But let me give you the dates here. President Trump. I was just looking this up, so of course, President Trump rally schedule. Okay, Phoenix, Arizona on Wednesday. We will not be doing it. There will be 7 p.m. Mountain Standard Time. That will end up being 8 p.m. Central Standard Time. That will be 9 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. Looks like we'll still do the show on Wednesday because the president always starts a little bit late, but we'll do that right leading up to the show. So that'll be a fun. Wednesday will be fun. And then he has another rally in Colorado Springs on Thursday. And yes, Johnny will be in Vegas on the 21st and Charlotte, North Carolina on Monday, March 2nd. So that's going to be kind of a big deal. Ahead, they're planning that one ahead. Who knows what will happen in between. But yes, Colorado, Phoenix, Vegas, hitting a bunch of states right before the Republican primaries. He's very impressed with how President Trump is rolling out his campaign right now. The trip to NASCAR was huge. It was a huge positive for the campaign. I know the left is mad about it. They say that he was illegally using presidential equipment to campaign. I would advise them to look at President Obama's use of presidential equipment and his campaigning and just get an idea. That's one of the benefits of being the incumbent. That's how it works. Elections have consequences, and when you're the incumbent, you do get to use the presidential pulpit to help run your campaign. That's how it's been since the dawn of time. You're mad because Donald Trump is doing it. Maybe you should remember. Get history. Have your memory checked. You might be some of these lefties might be having Alzheimer's. Actually, they may have a memory condition because they seem to have forgotten everything that they're mad about Obama did, and often more. Yeah. So that is our show. Patricia, you are so right. They can be mad all they want. President Trump was and is wonderful. On my Facebook page, my cover photo is a fantastic photo of Melania Trump with a huge smile as they are lapping the Beast in as a pace car in the Daytona 500, opening up that race. She really looks like she's having a great time, and that woman has so much stress and pressure. Such a good time. Great to see her smile. So check out that photo. If you didn't see the president's lap, if you haven't heard any of the stuff, all you've got is left-wing news. Please go read what the excuse me. Whew. See, I talk about how crazy the Democrats are mad about the NASCAR thing. Talk about it. I'm allergic to stupid. It's so stupid. So we're going to be back again on Wednesday. Obviously, more things to talk about. We'll be talking about more about the Democrats and the election going forward. AG Barr, what's happening with that? Dershowitz, the Weinstein case. There's some concern that it could actually end in an acquittal because of a hung jury. Issues. We're very concerned. So we're going to be following all up on that on Wednesday. Until then, let's play a little bit. Let's catch back up with a little bit of this. Love you guys. As always, thank you for tuning in. I want to thank Chris McDonald, my Munkin, for being in the room and supporting, sharing the links, helping out with everything that he does. I love each and every one of you. Thank you for tuning in. We'll be back on Wednesday, 8 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. Until then, you guys have a great day. Support your president. Register our voters. And continue jumping out. Love you guys.